Hi, it's me again with Corel Draw Tips and Tricks. And just yesterday I had to engrave on 50 of these bases. And I wish I had one of them finished. They're standing up on metal rods and it's a really neat piece of art. But some lady found them and won them, and my neighbor's actually making them for trophies for a big company. But if you were only going to do one or two of these, somebody brought you this and they wanted it engraved on this face, which is at a 30-degree angle from any flat side that you could put in the laser. If you're going to do more than two, you need to make a jig. You could hold this up with tape and, a board and get it level and, or a bean bag and whatever. But if you want them all to be exactly the same, you need to make a jig. And I like making jigs. So just to show you, my neighbor told me it was 30 degrees of an angle cut right here. And I just drew a line, connected another line, and then put it over. And of course, by the picture, it's 30.9, but um, you know, sanding and a little bit off, and in the it's a little higher here. So I went, but so if you did not know it was 30 degrees, somebody brought you a plaque. There's other ways to figure this out, but there's a good way to just draw you a line on the base and bring it up 30 degrees. So this thing is really pretty easy to make. MDF works really good for making plaque or making this jig. And just to note a couple of things that I'm going to talk about in the other laser, when we get to the drawing part. This is crudely put together with some wood glue. I didn't care what it looked like. I just wanted it strong. But this piece of wood right here is interior that's setting on top of the base. And what that interior piece of wood does, it gave me something to glue to, and it gave me a straight edge so my thing wouldn't be tilted. I mean, this piece is actually backed up on the backside. I cut it a little bit short, and the laser bed's going to fit right in here, the front of the laser. I actually use a piece of 12-inch MDF that I use all the time, so I can look down on top of it. I have a big Fusion 40, and sometimes when it's way up there by the home, you can't really see it. So I marked the home right here on this after I had it 12 inches down, and marked the home, and then that way I could run my red dot pointer around the top of this and make sure I was where I needed to be, and after I got it level. So this is your left side of the laser, and I even put a stop block. I glued a stop block to it. So here's the two interior pieces we're fixing to draw. And then this piece keeps it to, it's an indexer. It makes you get every one of these blocks exactly where the other one was. So once you know it's 30 degrees, we needed about a 4-inch block right here. So I just drew 3 lines. I drew a 4-inch line, and I drew them separately so they would not be attached. Then just double click on your line. Sometimes your shape tool will take over. Move your rotation to the bottom and move this line 330 degrees so it'll kick it that away. Take this line, double click on it, and I haven't moved the rotation, so move the rotation to the bottom. Let's rotate this one 30 degrees. Now, the reason I have 2 lines, you're fixing to find out. Just so I'll know, I'm going to group these together for just a second, and I'm going to rotate the whole thing 60 degrees now. And what that did, it's kind of helping me see that this piece is going to be flat and level with the laser head. As you can see, the laser is going to write right there. I do not need that line, as you can see here. But I just wanted that line there so I knew that, that it was 60 degrees. So let's do this. Let's ungroup this. Let's take this line away. Now let's just draw a box, or just draw some lines. As long as they're parallel, we'll start from right there. Let's go back and look at our picture. We're going to go back there, go down, just so you're off the surface. Hold down your control button so it'll be parallel. draw another one, draw another one, and then draw over to it. I'm a little bit high, but you get the idea. So all you'd have to do is just, and this angle doesn't really matter. It's doesn't have to be square because the thing's going to protrude to that. And then that's all you do. You just cut those out. You make 2 of those. Then you cut out a block that's, you know, if this, well, let's just look at our first block because it was right dead on. Our first block, the bottom is 4 inches. The widest point, well, it's 5 inches. So then you would just take another piece of MDF and cut it 5 by whatever, you know, 5 by 5, lay it down there, let's do this. Let's put it in the center of the page. Hit P on your keyboard. So we got something that, let's make it, we're going to make this width 5, and we're going to make this width 6. So this is going to be our bottom, and our thing's fitting this way. Then just Control D and make one a little bit shorter. Hit P on the keyboard, see how it looks. So there's your 4 pieces. This is going to be your base. This is going to be the indexing. So you're going to glue this on first, basically. Make sure it's parallel and square to this. And then take this piece and glue it like this with this edge down here, and then on the other side. So you end up with this. And I did not draw in the stop block. But this, the jobs ran so fast that all it was a title and a name. By the time I got the next one ready, it was ready to pop one in. And if I didn't emphasize enough, when you're working on something that you've got to swap out a lot, take you a piece of MDF that doesn't warp or shrink very much, and have it at 12 inches. And then you're working on this part of your laser. So my jig fit right in here. I just butted it up against here in the 12. So the main reason I do that, one, it's a lot closer to reach because this is 28 inches across, but I can see the red dot line. I can be looking right over top of it when it's running to make sure I'm level, square, and my graphic and text is going to go exactly where I want it. That sounded a little confusing. I hope it wasn't. Anyway, thank you for watching and hope that helped.